They've been through the eye. They're in Tully.
Yep.
But they're in a house that the roof's lifting off. So they're all sitting in their car. My son and his wife and the kids all sitting in the car, and their in-laws are in the other car. So they went around to the in-laws to stay with them for the night. And now they're all sitting in the car, from what I can gather.
Okay, are they somewhere protected around the cars?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. Well, if they're listening on the radio, our thoughts are with you as well. Stay safe.
Okay, thanks, Kelly.
What's it been like in the creek?
It's been tremendously incredible. Like, the wind is just incredible. It's been lifting my boat off the water, and it's a 6-ton catamaran, 44 feet long.
You're kidding, it's been lifted up.
Lifting off the nose has been lifting off the water, yeah. And, yeah, it's just frightening, and, yeah.
And they're very, very strong winds, and it's like a steam train, like an express train running through up the street, you know. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
My daughter's in Mission Beach at the moment. She's held up in Mission Beach Resort Hotel.
Yep.
And they're sitting in the bathroom with their mattresses. She said it's like a nightmare out there.
Oh.
Pretty wild out here. I'll just stick the phone out the door for you.
Okay, thanks.
It's been like that for about 3 hours here.
3 hours. That's a bit of rain that's come down your way.
Yeah, it's been very windy. A lot of debris hitting the roof and that sort of stuff.
Yep. The roof's still there, though?
It's still on as far as I know, yeah. It's a noise that gets to you, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Andy, you sound like you just want this to be over.
Yeah, another hour and a half, and I think she'll be toning down.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Another hour and a half. And
scarier than Larry, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it been the noise or the actual destructive?
Yeah, the noise is just that's what gets to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a runaway train.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just want it to stop.
So you've lost half your roof. When did that happen?
Oh, it's been going for since about 06.
Yeah.
And we've still got heavy winds here in Halifax.
Mm-hmm. At Mirabel and Cairns, Larissa, hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Well, we're in the bathroom. We want to know if we can come out yet.
In the bathroom? Well, I can't make that decision for you, unfortunately, because I'm not there. And it seems Tully has sustained significant damage as Yasi crossed the coast. The ABC's Ian Gustafson spoke with Councillor Ross Sabello of Cassowary Coast Council. He'd been forced to take refuge in his car.
The direct path was fairly over Tully because the wind gusts were so strong, and it's totally devastated Tully because we had about a 40-minute lapse of the eye in Tully, and at that time I got out and had a little look with a high-powered torch. I'm holed up at my mum's place in Richardson Street, which is the top end of the main street of Tully. Her house, the roof is off. The neighbours, the roof is off. My son's in-laws, they're both houses, the roof's off. I've had information that there are house roofs off in Kennedy, a house of mine in Faluga, the roof is off. So it's total devastation for Tully, like I would say it happened to Larry for Innisfail 5 years ago. The wind and that is buffering us quite badly now. I've got the ute backed up to the roller door to stop the roller door blowing out, and it's jerking us along as if we're doing 60 mile an hour along the road.
That's quite phenomenal. You've obviously been in this part of the world for quite some time. Is this up there with the worst storm you've experienced, if not the worst?
Yes, it is. I've been through a couple now, and all the others have been boys compared to this beauty. This has been a monster.
Tonight that two of my brothers have lost their roofs, and one brother's had major damage to his house with all windows blown out. He's had his fence that he's just put up all blown down, and he said his house is just completely saturated. My mum, she lives out of Euramo, and she didn't want to get evacuated. She just had a new house from Cyclone Larry a couple of years ago, and she felt quite safe in this new cyclone-built house, but she said she was on her knees praying because the house was just shaking, completely shaking. She said it was just, the winds were just unbelievable.
Roger and Sherelle Skelly run a bed and breakfast 8 kilometres north of Tully, an area which bore the brunt of the worst part of the cyclone last night. They both went through Larry 5 or 6 years ago now, so they knew what damage a cyclone could cause. But Sherelle says last night was the most terrifying night of their lives. The winds forced the doors of their house open, and Roger and Sherelle used all their strength to keep them closed to stop the house from being destroyed. They managed to protect their home, but Sherelle says it took every piece of energy that they had.
We knew what was coming. We didn't know it was going to be quite such a horror night, but we got through it. We thought we were going to lose the house at one stage because the front doors blew in, and that meant that and that was really about 45 minutes before the eye hit us. So for that 45 minutes, we're trying to keep those two doors closed, which kept opening on us all the time. And so we braced ourselves up against those doors, and we stayed there for 45 minutes, constantly watching our clocks, because we had been told that the eye should come up at about midnight. So when midnight came and went, and 15:15 came and went, we started to feel that we didn't have the energy left in us to keep those doors closed. We were getting very, very close to exhaustion. They kept pushing open and pushing us across the floor. We pushed back against them, and it really took an awful lot out of us physically. And it was really, really the most terrifying night of both of our lives, and I never, ever want to go through anything like that again.
Did you surprise yourself at how strong you were being able to keep those doors closed for so long?
Roger and I are a very loving couple, and we're always there for each other, and we knew if we didn't both work together to keep those doors closed, the house would peel, because we could feel the doors rattling at the back when the front doors burst open and we ran to close them down. We could hear the bifold doors at the back starting to wiggle and sort of bow, and we looked at each other and we said, we've got to close this or we're going to lose the house. And we mustered what we had to do, and we got it done.
Everyone was expecting a bad night last night. Was it as awful as you thought it would be, or was it worse?
Much worse. Much worse. It sounded like when the Air Force planes go low over your property, that it went on, and it went on, and it seemed to go on forever. You cannot prepare for anything of this magnitude emotionally until you go through it yourself.
Let's get another view. Ron Darlington joins you now. He's a photographer, and he also lives in Mission Beach. G'day, Ron. What are you seeing out there?
I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. We lived through Larry, and we thought that was pretty bad. That was just a storm. I've just been driving around trying to get photographs here, and it's just so tragic. Most of the roads are blocked, but there is not a blade of grass. There's not a leaf on a tree. Power poles are broken. There's power leads over, and every single house has been damaged. You can't find one that said, oh, well, they came through all right. They've all got roofs ripped off and windows blown out. And I've only just had mine fixed up from Larry, and it's wrecked again.
So how many buildings, I mean, just a rough calculation, how many buildings do you reckon you drove past this morning in that trip of yours?
100.
And you're saying that not one of them wasn't damaged?
Everyone, all the power poles are down, so, they've fallen into houses. I went down about 3 streets, and there'd be 30 in each street, and everything is damaged, everything. So I just don't know what they're going to do here. This is just outrageous.
You can hear it up high like a jet engine. I'm on my own.
My old house is shaking on its stumps. It's moving like a couple of inches left and right, and it's brand new stumped on concrete as well.
This is the scariest thing ever. I think my roof's about to go, but I'm not 100% sure. Every time I go out the door, out the front door, you can hear cracks and this and that. Mate, I went through Cyclone Larry in the same house, and it's nothing compared to this.
Was very horrific, as a matter of fact. By about midnight, she started to blow here like I've never seen before in my life. I went
far
through
worse than
Larry.
you.
I went through Larry at this house, and it came out relatively unscathed. But this cyclone this time was by far twice as bad as that.
What happened to the house this time round, Ross?
Well, the house this time, the roof's completely gone. There's no ceiling left. All you can see is the red bricks 2 stories up, and that's all. So I would say this house is demolishable. It's not real good at all. If you look around the streets, there's quite a lot of houses that have got substantial roof damage.
Can you just explain to me what you did last night to seek shelter?
Well, what happened? By about 1 o'clock, the wind was starting to get very strong, and I was worried about the integrity of the windows because they were bowing in. So I said to the wife and my mum, let's go downstairs and shelter in the bathroom and toilet. It's stronger. Which we did. We came downstairs and we sat down here for a little while, but then some louvers broke out in the bathroom and toilet because of flying debris or whatever, and it was getting very wet and uncomfortable under the house, and then one of the doors was wobbling and it blew out, and then we had no choice to quickly go to jump in a car. 3 cars under the house. It's quite a large house, so we jumped into one of the cars. Once the eye of the cyclone came over, the wind came from the other direction, and it blew out the other roller door then from the north side. So then we quickly reversed the Toyota Hilux up to the last remaining door, and that door in place, and then we got rocked and rolled for about 2 hours after that until the wind slowly died down.
Oh, our bus depot had a big shelter there that's been ripped off and thrown away. The big shops on the corner that services the bus as a restaurant, that's all. They've been bashed in and all open to the elements, and the roof has come off the house behind it. And the house behind that is completely disintegrated.
When you say disintegrated, what do you mean?
Well, it's an old building, and it just collapsed. The roof came off and the side walls fell in, and it's just a heap on the ground now.